Thank you so much, Vance, and thank you everyone here at CSL Midtown. It really is a joy and honor to be here today. And what I'm guided to start with is I just invite us just to put our hands on our hearts and just breathe. Breathe in the beauty that's already been expressed here from that beautiful treatment from Norma, from the beautiful song, and just anticipating the good and greater good that's unfolding here during our time together. So as we are grounded in spirit, grand rising to you. Grand rising. That is the global theme for Centers for Spiritual Living for the entire year, and especially for this month. And I give great honor to Reverend Casey Taylor, who put together these global themes, and she was the inspiration. I was grateful to be on the Global Themes Committee for 2024. You'll find mine in September on peace. Yes. And today, so Grand Rising, as you may have heard from other ministers this month, it's from African American youth who use this phrase instead of good morning, good morning, good morning. Grand Rising is so much more intentional. And so that is ours to do today, is to just be more intentional, to use these teachings and wisdom of science of mind intentionally to really create the best day yet, as the song just said. So again, it is a great honor and pleasure to be here. And to recap a bit through the month of January, the first week was It's a New Dawn. The next week was It's a New Day. The next week is It's a New Life for me. And now we're feeling good. And to me, the feeling part really is the miracle grow of spiritual mind treatment. It's the miracle grow of creating a world that works for everyone and creating the world that we want in our own lives. Very powerful stuff. And I am executive director of the Science of Mind Archives. And what I love to do is to share about the archives. It's been just such a blessing to be executive director for these 9 years. And I remember when I first started, I was a practitioner and just getting ready to start ministerial school. And I discovered I felt like a kid in a spiritual candy store. It's like, oh my God, all this beauty and wisdom that's within the archives. And this month, January, which is, again, traditionally back to basics month for centers like your center here, it's Ernest Holmes' birthday. So we just celebrated the birthday boy a week ago today. And I'm so blessed to be with Diego as the producer here, as we were together last Sunday having a virtual birthday party for Ernest. And so I'm going to invite him to share some slides with you. I have some information to share. So yes, that's me. We are feeling good. Are you feeling good? Are you feeling good right now? Nice. Okay, my job is done. Maybe I'm done. No, just kidding. All right. Alrighty. And so here are the many faces of the spiritual journey. Which one do you feel like today? Which one do you feel like today? Yes. So feelings are important. And I think some days, even within minutes, we feel like all of those faces, don't we? And so there, I love this picture because this is Dr. Ernest Holmes with Janet Gaynor, and his birthday. Gaynor, thank you. I'll say it right, Janet. And look at him. How is he feeling? How is Ernest feeling right now? Oh my gosh, he was just a joyous soul. And to me, it's really important. When I first found Science of Mind and I was becoming a practitioner, someone from the archives came and spoke. And I said, oh my gosh, I love this teaching. I'm taking vows. I really want to go deeper and learn who was Dr. Ernest Holmes. Who is this man, And so, I think manifested a spiritual principle because I said it definitely. And now I'm executive director of the archives. And so now I know a bit more and I get to share it with you. Because again, for you, I mean, even if this is your first time here, or if you've been doing this a lifetime or for decades, you know, to go back to basics, to learn about our roots is just so powerful. So what about like your family, your personal family? Because again, what is an archive? What do they do there? You know, who are you people? And so to think about your family, think about your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents. What would it be like to be able to sit at the feet of your grandpa and hear it say, Grandpa, tell me a story. Tell me a story. And to hear the wisdom of your family, to hear about how they traveled different countries, their experiences, and how they became who they are today, and how that brought you to where you are today in your life. Well, this is our spiritual grandfather, Dr. Holmes, or even great-grandfather. We're getting some generations in here. It was over 100 years ago that Dr. Ernest Holmes wrote his very first book, Creative Mind. And then from there, he became an ordained minister through divine science. And he just kept hearing this calling to teach, this calling to share this timeless wisdom, this loving, inclusive wisdom that has been brought to us today. And the neat thing is, it really is timeless. And to me, if you can hear it from source and learn from it from source, from Dr. Holmes himself, it just deepens our own spiritual connection. It deepens our own connection to source and to who we are. And we get to choose who we want to be in the world. So that's why we're here today. So we had a birthday party last week. Dr. Holmes turned 137, and I might say he is looking good. So we do a virtual party. We've been doing birthday parties at the archives for 9 years, and this is our 4th virtual party. And you can actually find it on the Science of Mind Archives YouTube channel. So you can relive the memories. And we just had some really amazing speakers. So we had these speakers like Dr. Christian Sorensen, Reverend Stephen Rambo, Dr. Lloyd Barrett, the voice of God. And I'm so grateful that Dr. Barry Ebert was co-host with me. Reverend Mark Gilbert is on our board of directors, and he has been doing amazing work to bring the archives out to you through our website, through our YouTube channels, and through books. So there's a lot of wisdom. So it's kind of neat. It's entertaining. You learn, you hear these inspiring speakers talk about how Science of Mind transformed their lives. There's some incredible music, like Reverend Cynthia James, Reverend Kit Holmes, who I adore, Denise Rosier, all of these. It's worth it. It's worth it to check out that, but put it on your calendar for next year. Put it on your calendar because every year it's virtual, it's free, and it is a fundraiser to support our archives. And it's a good time. And so I'm going to invite you to listen. So again, I want this to be experiential. I want you to hear Dr. Holmes. And maybe you have before, and maybe this is your very first time hearing his voice. And so I just invite you to go into your heart and hear this meditation from You Need Never Grow Old.
Let us take these words from Psalms as the thought for our meditation today. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. And as we dwell on the meaning of these words, quietly in our own minds, let us see if we cannot come into a complete realization that we are one with the ageless Spirit. In the quiet of my mind, I realize that I am one with the eternal newness of life. The Spirit is working in me and through me now. My body is alive with the life of God. My mind is illumined by the light of God. There is no darkness, no discouragement, no defeat. My mind is refreshed in that one mind that forever gives of itself to its creation. All that the Father hath is mine. I open my mind to accept the good gifts of joy and happiness. I open my heart to know that the ageless Spirit is my life now. And I know that my body and my experience shall manifest the image of life in all its newness, and I shall dance and sing through the days of my years with gladness in my heart. I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever, knowing that my cup is full to overflowing with the only life there is, the life and the eternal youth of God.
Just take that into your heart. So it's really profound. I feel that when you can hear his voice, then all of a sudden when you're reading from Dr. Holmes, you hear him as you read. And I'm going to the next slide here. So I think the neat thing, you might have seen pictures of him like this in his robes and all formal, but let me tell you, this is the Dr. Holmes I know. He's very down to earth. He's very humorous. He's very real. He speaks truth with a capital T, and we're just so grateful to have that. This is the Holmes family. And so as we're celebrating his birthday month here, so right here in the middle, it is Ernest. And then there's his brother Jerome, and we'll see if I can get them right. And then his mom, Anna Holmes, who was very famous in the movement. Ernest, his dad, Williams. There's his brother, Guy. And then he had more brothers, too. There was 8 boys. So we bless Mother Holmes for taking on those 8 boys. And just beautiful souls. We're just really grateful for their light. And then here's an older version of the Holmes boys. And you can kind of see Ernest right here. They were all very well educated or ministers and really learned kindness from their parents, Anna and William Holmes. They taught them kindness and love, and they really said no to fire and brimstone and all those negative things. They said, no, it's all about love. It's all about love. And I think it's cool that in the very first practitioner class of 1927, they have all their signatures, which is really cool. And then up here it says teacher, Ernest Holmes, and then there's Diane Rundle, but then Anna C. Holmes. Anna was Ernest Holmes' first practitioners in the first graduating class. So she became Mother Holmes to the movement, and she did lots of service work and just supported the world. This is Ernest and his wife Hazel with their dog Prince down here. And Hazel was just by Ernest's side every step of the way. They were just such a loving, beautiful couple. And this is Fenwick, his brother Fenwick, and Ernest. And we make up stories when we don't know things. And so this is them writing their last work, The Voice Celestial together. And Fenwick wrote this book, Ernest Holmes, His Life and Times. And it's a nice biography. And what I love, in the very beginning, the very first chapter, it says, Ernest is born. A new age must wait upon one to proclaim it, and no matter how great his future destiny and dignity, he must be first born a baby. And none of these thoughts were in the mind of the neighbor who had been routed out of bed at 3 o'clock to traverse the fields of snow and help bring a child into the world. And so they were in Lincoln, Maine. The temperature was 0 degrees, and there's this little farmhouse. And all the other boys were in the loft. Ernest is the youngest of the Holmes boys. And you can just imagine, who knew this little baby was going to be the founder of an entire movement that we are all a part of. And so we just say, thank you, Dr. Holmes. Thank you for shining your light in our world. And on the Science Mind Archives website, we do have the life of Ernest Holmes under Free Wisdom. There's a lot of good things happening at the archives. Once a month, we do these free lunch and learns. You can hear Ernest Holmes' voice and you can learn from it. And we go into breakout groups as well. So the next one will be right after Valentine's Day, Thursday, February 15th. And again, our website has it all. If you get nothing else, ScienceMindArchives.com has audio recordings. We're constantly, every single week, we're bringing out more and more for you. And so I just want to move into a time of thinking about back to basics. You know, there's the 4 main chapters in the beginning of the textbook is the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. And so this week is our how to use it. And so how do you use it in your life? You know, how do you use these spiritual principles? And I'm wondering right now, what's on your heart? I know that your Center for Spiritual Living Midtown is going through an exciting time of transformation and change as you're calling in your new perfect minister. What's going on in your world? And again, let's just kind of give it a moment and bring it to your heart. What is it? So we can consciously use these spiritual principles in our world. Consciously use them. You know, and personally, I just want to share an Atlanta, Georgia story of my own. So I had just gone through a divorce. Like a year or two later, I lost my job. And I was just searching. It's like, what do I do? You know, I was already a practitioner and just had this longing within me to make a difference in the world. My upbringing was kind of rough. My mother committed suicide when I was 6. My dad died when I was 14. And I was raised by my 19-year-old 6th sister. And so it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, why? You know, what's going on here? But something in my heart said I was here to make a difference in the world. I wanted to help others who may be going through life challenges and changes. You know, change happens all the time. But when we can learn and use these spiritual principles in our life, it can be so much more graceful, so much easier. And so there I was. My sister invited me to a convention or a workshop in Atlanta, Georgia. It was how to up-level your business. The year was 2014. And I got this clarity. I said, I want to be a minister. I want to be a minister. And so God said, okay. And within 24 hours, I got a phone call inviting me to interview to be executive director of the archives. And I said, I thought I said minister, God. But God laughed, and she did. And and sure enough, here I am, 9 years later as executive director of the archives, but I'm an ordained minister. It was just, again, how amazing to be in the archives. I just started ministerial school, and actually Dr. Bob Dean was the president of Holmes Institute. I mean, God just laid out the red carpet for me. It was amazing. So I'm at home office in the archives with all the wisdom of the ages, praying with Dr. Bob Dean, the president of the Holmes Institute, every morning. I mean, I was just so blessed. God is good all the time. And so for us to get really clarity on what we do want and really let God surprise us, we have to trust. We have to trust too and take those steps. And so here we are talking about how to use it, how to use these spiritual principles, and also about, as Norma talked about, revealing a world that works for everyone, revealing that world. Now, what does that look like? So what does it look like? What does it look like for your center to really reveal a world that works for everyone? To get that clarity, because one of the things I personally love about this teaching and this movement is it's so welcoming. You can come from whatever faith path originally and shine your light. You can be you. Whatever your religious background is, whatever your relational background is, your sexual orientation, whatever color your skin. It really doesn't matter, because deeply we are one. And we teach that deeply we are love. Now, if you look behind me a little bit, you can kind of see her. That's green Tara. So that's my background of religion, because I was more yoga and Hindu. And I think what green Tara represents is she's a bodhisattva. So she's of the Buddha. And I think each one of us, so if you can look really close, she's stepping her foot off the lotus petal, which means she's going out in the world to make a difference. And so bodhisattva is on the spiritual path of enlightenment, but they stop and they come back to bring everyone else with them. So we are here to bring everyone with us along the spiritual path of enlightenment, of love, of peace, of joy, to love one another, to see the God in everyone, and to see the God in ourselves. So I'm going to invite you to take whatever that is on your heart as I wrap up with a prayer. And I'm going to use, let's get the correct book. From the Science of Mind textbook. You see it's kind of well-loved and falling apart, but I love it dearly. Because Ernest Holmes says something so beautiful that I want to include into all of our prayers. I want you to take this into your heart, and just like Norma so beautifully said it in the first person, Ernest speaks in the first person. So just take a breath, breathe in, exhale, and listen. I am a center in the divine mind, a point of God consciousness, life, truth, and action. My affairs are divinely guided and guarded into right action, into correct results. Everything I do, say, or think is stimulated by the truth. There's a power that is in this word I speak, because it is the truth and it is the truth. There is perfect and continuous right action in my life and affairs. All belief in wrong action is dispelled and made negative. Right action alone has power, and right action is power, and power is God, the living Spirit Almighty. This Spirit animates everything that I do, say, or think. Ideas come to me daily, and these ideas are divine ideas. They direct me and sustain me without effort. I'm continuously directed. I am compelled to do the right thing at the right time, to say the right word at the right time, to follow the right course at all times. All suggestion of age, poverty, limitation, or unhappiness is uprooted from my mind and cannot gain entrance to my thought. I am happy, well, and filled with perfect life. I live in the spirit of truth, and I'm conscious that the spirit of truth lives in me. My word is the law unto its own manifestation, and will bring to me or cause me to be brought into its fulfillment. There is no unbelief, no doubt, no uncertainty. I know, and I know that I know. Every thought of doubt vanished from my mind, that I may know the truth, and that the truth may make me free. And so I just know that this divine truth is within each one of us, and it carries us forward into this day, into this week, and into our lives. May we truly reveal a world that works for everyone, peace on earth, peace in our own lives, and may we be uplifted in our bodhisattva selves to really reveal peace, love, and joy in the world. So I just release all these words into that divine law that always says yes and fulfills it in ways beyond anything we could ever imagine. We trust, we say yes, and it is good. And I invite you to anchor that with me by saying, and so it is.